Good morning. We will see today about the posterior BSc Nursing examination of October 2018 of 2016 scheme. So the first question is define hemostasis and mention the steps in hemostasis, describe the intrinsic and extrinsic coagulation pathways, add a note on anticoagulants. So hemostasis is defined as an arrest or stoppage of bleeding. When blood vessel is injured, the injury initiates a series of reactions resulting in hemostasis. It occurs in three stages. First one is vasoconstriction, second is platelet plaque formation, and third one is coagulation of blood. So the first is vasoconstriction. Immediately after injury, the blood vessel constricts and decreases the loss of blood from the damaged portion. Usually, arterioles and small arteries constrict. Vasoconstriction is purely a local phenomenon. When the blood vessels are cut, the endothelium is damaged and collagen is exposed. Platelets adhere to this collagen and get activated. The activated platelets secrete serotonin and other vasoconstrictor substance which cause constriction of blood vessels. Second is platelet plaque formation. Platelets get adhered to a collagen of ruptured blood vessel and secrete adenosine diphosphate ADP and thromboxane A2. These two substances attract more and more platelets and activate them. All these platelets aggregate together and form a loose temporary platelet plaque or temporary hemostatic plaque, which closes the ruptured vessel and prevents further blood loss. Platelet aggregation is accelerated by platelet activating factor. Third one is coagulation of blood. During this process, the fibrinogen is converted to fibrin. Fibrin threads get attached to the loose platelet plug which blocks the ruptured part of the blood vessel and prevent further blood loss completely. So the second part of the same question was described in the intrinsic and extrinsic coagulation pathways. Blood clotting commences with the formation of substance called prothrombin activator which convert prothrombin to thrombin. It is formed either with the blood itself or outside the blood. Intrinsic pathway is the formation of prothrombin activator is initiated by the platelets which are within the blood itself. The sequence of events in the intrinsic pathway are during the injury, the blood vessel is ruptured, the endothelium and collagen beneath the endothelium is exposed. So, when it is get exposed, factor 12 comes in contact with this collagen. Inactive factor 12 converted to active factor 12 in the presence of substance like kallikrein and high molecular weight kinogen. The active factor of factor 12 convert inactive factor 11 into active factor 11, the presence of HMV kinogen, that is high molecular weight kinogen. So activated factor 11 convert inactivate factor 9 to activate factor 9 in the presence of factor 4, that is calcium. Activated factor 9 activate factor 10 in the presence of factor 8 and calcium. When the platelet comes in contact with collagen of damaged blood vessel, it gets activate and release phospholipids. Now activate factor 10 reacts with platelets phospholipid and factor 5 to form prothrombin activator. This needs calcium ions. An extrinsic pathway of coagulation. In this mechanism, one of the factors comes from the surrounding damaged tissue, that is outside the blood. This factor is known as a tissue factor or tissue thromboplastin. When the blood vessel is injured, the surrounding tissues get damaged. This damaged tissue produces the tissue factor. That is the tissue that damaged during the injury release factor 3, that is the tissue thromboplastin, contains proteins, phospholipids and glycoprotein which act as a proteolytic enzymes. When the glycoprotein and phospholipid components of thromboplastin convert 10 into activated factor 10 in the presence of factor 7. The activated factor 10 reacts with factor 5 and phospholipid components of tissue thromboplastin to form prothrombin activator. This reaction requires calcium ion. Then add a note on anticoagulant. Anticoagulants are the substances which prevent or inhibit coagulation of blood. Anticoagulants used to prevent blood clotting inside the body, that is in vivo. Anticoagulants used to prevent blood clotting that collected body blood from the body, that is known as in vitro. Anticoagulants used to prevent both in vivo and in vitro. The types: first one is heparin. Heparin is a natural anticoagulant produced by the mast cells. It prevents clotting by antithrombin activity used both in vivo and in vitro. Second is coumarin derivative. The example warfarin. It acts by inhibition by action of vitamin K. These are commonly used oral anticoagulants in clinical practice. Second is EDT. Third one is EDTA. It is a strong anticoagulant act by removing the calcium from the body by reacting with then citrates and oxalate. The action is same like EDTA. Then short essays. The first essays describe spinothalamic and pyramidal tract pathways. So spinothalamic carries 3 marks and pyramidal carries 4 marks. First we will see the pyramidal tracts. Pyramidal tracts are the first tract found in man. Lemma tracts of the spinal cord are descending tracts concerned with voluntary motor activities of the body. These tracts otherwise known as corticospinal tracts. So two corticospinal tracts, that is anterior corticospinal tract and lateral corticospinal tract. When running from cerebral cortex toward the spinal cord, the fibers of these two tracts give appearance of a pyramid on the upper part of anterior surface of medulla oblongata. Hence, it is known as pyramidal tract. The spinothalamic tract is an ascending pathway of spinal cord together with the medial lemnicus. It is one of the most important sensory pathway of nervous system. It is responsible for transmission of pain, temperature, to touch to the somatosensory region of the thalamus. The spinothalamic tract consists of two adjacent pathways, that is anterior and lateral. The anterior spinothalamic tract carries information about true touch. Lateral spinothalamic tract conveys pain and temperature. The spinal cord, the spinothalamic tract has somatotopic organization, such as segmental organization of its cervical, thoracic, lumbar and sacral components, which is arranged from the most medial to most lateral respectively. The pathway crosses over at the level of spinal cord rather than in the brainstem like dorsal column medial lemnicus pathway and lateral corticospinal tract. It is one of the 3 tracts which make the anterior lateral system. Define cardiac output, mention the normal value, describe the factors influencing cardiac output. Cardiac output is the amount of blood ejected by each ventricle per minute. So cardiac output is equal to stroke volume into heart rate. Stroke volume is the amount of blood ejected by each ventricle per beat. It is around 70 ml per beat. The heart rate is around if the heart rate is number of heartbeats per minute, that is about 72 beats per minute. So cardiac output is 70 into 72 is equal to 5 liters per minute. Regulation of cardiac output is by extrinsic regulation, that is by regulating the heart rate, intrinsic regulation by regulating the stroke volume. Factors influencing cardiac output. First one is venous return. The amount of blood returned to the right atrium per minute. Cardiac output is directly proportional to the venous return when the other factors are constant. Force of contraction. It depends on diastolic period and ventricular filling. Cardiac output is directly proportional to the force of contraction when the other factors are constant. Heart rate. Cardiac output is directly proportional to the heart rate when the other factors are constant. Moderate change in the heart rate does not alter the cardiac output. Peripheral resistance. Cardiac output inversely proportional to the peripheral resistance to when the other factors are constant. It is the resistance offered by the blood flow at the peripheral blood vessels. Short notes. The conduction system of the heart. Human heart is a specialized conductive system through which the impulses from SI node transmitted to all other parts of the heart. Conducting system of human heart consists of bundle of His, right and left branches and Purkinje fibers. SI node is situated in the right atrium just below the opening of superior vena cava. AV node is situated in the right posterior portion of the intra-atrial septum. The impulses from the SI node are conducted to AV node by 3 types of internal nodal fibers. Anterior internal nodal fibers of Bachmann, middle internal nodal of Weichenbach, and posterior node of Thorel. All these fibers from SA node converge on AB node and interdigitate the fibers of AB node. From the AB node, bundle of His arises. It divides into right and left branches which run either side of the interventricular septum. From each branch of bundle of His, many Purkinje fibers arise and spread all over the ventricular myocardium. Neuromuscular junction. The junction between terminal branch of the nerve fiber and muscle fiber is called neuromuscular junction. Each terminal branch of the nerve fiber is called axon terminal. While approaching close to the muscle fiber, the axon lost the myelin shape. So the axis cylinder is exposed, terminal portion of the axis cylinder is expand like a bud. It is known as motor end plate. The membrane of the muscle fiber below the end plate is thickened. It navigates inside the muscle fiber, forming a depression which is called sympathic tuft. The motor end plates fit in the trough. The membrane of the nerve endings are called presynaptic membrane. The space between two is called synaptic cleft. Axon terminal contains mitochondria and synaptic vesicles. The synaptic vesicle contains neurotransmitter substance called acetylcholine. It is synthesized by mitochondria present in the axon stored in the vesicles. The mitochondria contain ATP, which is a source of energy for synthesis of the acetylcholine. The function of neuromuscular junction is to transmit impulses from the nerve to the muscles. When the impulses are transmitters from the nerve to the muscle, a series of events take place in the neuromuscular junction. They are release of acetylcholine, action of acetylcholine, development of end plate potential, development of miniature end plate potential, distinction of acetylcholine. Mechanism of hearing. Sound waves travel through external auditory meatus and produce vibrations in the tympanic membrane. The vibrations from tympanic membrane travel through malleus and incus and reaches stapes, resulting in the movement of stapes. The movement of stapes produces vibration in the fluid of cochlea. These vibrations stimulate the hair cells in the organ of cortex. This in turn causes generation of action potential, that is auditory impulses in the auditory nerve fibers. When the auditory impulse reaches the cerebral cortex, the perception of hearing occurs. Role of external ear. The external ear directs the sound waves towards the tympanic membrane. Sound waves produce pressure changes over the surface of tympanic membrane. Role of middle ear. The role of tympanic membrane. Due to the pressure changes produced by the sound waves, tympanic membrane vibrates, that is, it moves in and out of the middle ear. Role of auditory ossicles. Vibrations set up in the tympanic membrane are transmitted through the malleus, incus and reach stapes, causing in and fro movement of stapes against oval window and against perilimb present in the scala vestibuli of cochlea. Role of eustachian tube. Eustachian tube is not concerned with hearing directly. However, it is responsible for equalizing the pressure on either side of the tympanic membrane. Role of inner ear. Traveling wave. Movement of the foot plate of the stapes against oval window causes the movement of perilimb in the scala vestibuli. This fluid does not move all the way from the oval window to round the window through the helicotrema. It immediately hits the vestibular membrane near the oval window. This causes the movement of fluid in the scala media since vestibular membrane is flexible. Maturation reflex. It is the reflex by which the maturation occurs. It is elicited by stimulation of Streck receptors situated on the wall of urinary bladder and urethra. When about 300 to 400 ml of urine is collected in the bladder, the intravesical pressure increases. This stretches the wall of bladder, resulting in the stimulation of Streck receptors and generation of sensory impulses. Once urine enters urethra, the Streck receptors in urethra are stimulated and they end afferent impulses to the spinal cord via pelvic nerve fibers. Now, the impulse generated from spinal centers inhibit pudendal nerve, so external sphincter relaxation and maturation occurs. Once maturation reflex begins, in itself is a regenerative. That means initial contraction of the bladder further activates and receptors to cause till the further increase in sensory impulses from the bladder and urethra. These impulses in turn cause further increase in reflex contraction of the bladder. The cycle continues repeatedly until the force of contraction of bladder reaches the maximum and urine is voided out completely. Higher centers of maturation are inhibitor center of maturation centers in midbrain and cortical. Cerebral cortex inhibit the maturation by suppressing spinal maturation centers. Facilitatory centers of maturation centers in pons facilitate maturation via spinal centers. Some centers in cerebral cortex also facilitate maturation. Neural regulation of respiration. Neural mechanism include the automatic control. Automatic system is located in the pons and medulla, which together form respiratory center. The efferent motor fiber from this system reaches the phrenic nerve via lateral and ventral portions of the spinal column, C3 to C5. Medullary respiratory centers are dorsal respiratory group, which consists of inspiratory neurons only, located in the nucleus and tractus solitarius. They receive afferent impulse coming from the lungs through 9 and 10 cranial nerve. They also project drive to ventral respiratory group. These inspiratory neurons fire periodically and frequency of impulse discharge gradually increase to maximum before coming to an abrupt. The ventral respiratory group located in the ventral part of the medulla, they contain both expiratory and inspiratory neuron. Both neurons fire together only during deep breathing. The ventral group of neurons innervate and in lateral accessory muscles of respiration via vagus nerve. Pneumotoxic center or pontine respiratory center. The center located on the upper pons bilaterally. These neurons have inhibitory effect on dorsal respiratory group. Pneumotoxic center will stimulate the switches off or inhibit respiration, resulting in shallow and more rapid respiration. Herring-Burr reflex. The stretch receptors present in the smooth muscles of the bronchial wall. They are stimulated when the lung inflate above tidal volume. Afferent impulse from these stretch receptors reach the nucleus of tractus solitarius of the medulla via vagus nerve. Answer briefly. That is, first one is functions of bile. There first is digestive function, absorptive function that helps the absorption of fat, excretory function. Bile pigments are major excretory products of bile, heavy metals, bacteria like typhoid bacteria, toxins, cholesterol, then alkaline phosphatase. Laxative action, antiseptic function, cholinergic function like bile salt stimulates secretion of bile from the liver. This action is known as cholinergic action. Maintenance pH in the GIT. Prevention of gallstone formation. Bile salt prevent formation of gallstone formation by keeping cholesterol and lecithin in solution. Lubrication function. Mucin in the bile acts as a lubricant. Cholagogue function, that is, biles act as a cholagogue by stimulating the secretion of hormone cholecystokin. This hormone causes contraction of gallbladder and resulting in release of bile. Active transport. Active transport is the movement of substance against a chemical or electrical or electrochemical gradient. It's like swimming against the water tide in a river. It also called uphill transport. Active transport require energy, which is obtained mainly by breakdown of high energy compounds like adenosine triphosphate. When a substance is transported across the cell membrane, comes near the cell, it combines with carrier protein of the cell membrane and forms substance protein complex. This complex moves towards inner surface of the cell membrane. Now, the substance is released from the carrier protein. The same carrier protein moves back to the other surface of the cell membrane to transport another molecule of substance. Next question is functions of testosterone. In general, testosterone responsible for distinguishing characteristics of masculine body. It also plays important role in fetal life. Functions of testosterone in fetal life include sex differentiation in fetus, development of accessory sex organ, and descent of the testes. Function of testosterone in adult life. Two important functions, that is, effect on sex organs. Sex increases the size of penis, scrotum, testes after puberty. All these organs enlarge at least 8 folds between onset of puberty at the age of 20 years. Under the influence of testosterone is also necessary for spermatogenesis. Second, effect on secondary sexual characters like effect on muscular growth, muscle mass increase about 50%. Effect on bone growth after puberty, testosterone increase the thickness of bones by increasing bone matrix. Effect on shoulder and pelvic bone cause broadening of shoulder, and they have a specific effect on pelvis which result in lengthening of pelvis, funnel-like shape of pelvis, narrowing the pelvic outlet. Thus, pelvis in male is different from that of the female, which is broad and round in oval in shape in female. Effect on skin. Testosterone increases the thickness of skin and redness of subcutaneous tissue. Effect on hair distribution. Testosterone causes the male type of hair distribution on the body, that is hair over the pubis, along the linea alba and umbilicus, on face, chest and other parts of the body, this back and limbs. Effect on voice. Time of adolescence, the boys have a cracking voice. It is because of the testosterone effect, which causes hypertrophy of laryngeal muscles, enlargement of larynx, thickening of the vocal cord. Later, the cracking voice changes gradually into a typical adult male voice with a buzzing sound. The effect on basal metabolic rate. At the time of puberty, the earlier part of adult life, the testosterone increases the basal metabolic rate to 5 to 10% by its anabolic effect on protein metabolism. Effect on electrolyte water balance. Effect on blood. Testosterone has got erythropoietic functions after puberty. Testosterone causes mild increase in RBC count. Differentiate between acquired and innate immunity. Innate immunity, the defense mechanism is that no antigen specific immediately comes into play on the antigen's appearance of the body. Acquired immunity, it is the defense mechanism that not always present but involve antigen specific immune response. Innate immunity is present at birth but acquired is acquired during the lifetime. Innate immunity always present in the body but acquired develop upon exposure to an antigen. Innate fight against foreign invader and thus non-specific, but acquired is the ability to fight a specific infection. Innate occurs rapidly per minutes to hours, but acquired occurs over days to weeks. Parathormone and calcitonin. Parathormone work in the concert with other hormone like calcitonin, which is produced by thyroid function to maintain blood calcium level. Parathormone is to increase the blood calcium level, while calcitonin act to decrease the blood calcium level. Calcitonin is the amino acid hormone produced and released by thyroid gland, but parathormone is a hormone produced by parathyroid gland. Actions of sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Sympathetic system prepare body for any potential danger. Sympathetic system has shorter neuron pathway, increase heartbeat, muscle tense up, pupil dilate to let more light, saliva secretion inhibited. On fight and flight situations, adrenaline is released in the adrenal glands, more glycogen is converted to glucose. But parasympathetic system aims to bring to a body to a state of calm. Comparatively longer neuron pathway, hence slower response time, reduces the heartbeat, muscle relaxes, pupil contracts, saliva secretion increases, digestion increases. No such functions exist in fight or flight situations. Thank you. Thank you for listening.